Hello, this is the final group project presentation for Team 97. My name is Yuanfei, and I will be walking you through the background, problem statement and approaches, as well as our initial hypothesis. As we all know, housing price played such a vital role of our life and the economic health of a nation, and the fluctuations in housing prices can be driven by a complex interplay of national economic indicators. Our objective is to explore and determine which microeconomic factors play the most critical role on influencing the housing price and further provide a deeper understanding of the U.S. housing market dynamics. We believe understanding these relationships allows for more informed decision making, better risk management, and improved strategy planning in the housing market. As a beginning point of our study, we split our data into two separate groups for regression analysis. We performed the variable selection and outlier detection for each of them, and the multiple regression models were fitted for both sets. Finally, we compared the results from the two data sets and conclude that the best regression model performed based on the MSPE results. Before we dive into the analysis and the coding part, we made 5 hypotheses based on our research and the common knowledge of the housing price. These hypotheses serve as a starting point of the analysis, and further exploration and refinement will be necessary to validate or refute them.
And now we're coming into the data overview. This section is finished by Jiaxi and Tianyi. So we selected 2 sets of data for future analysis for the variable selection. The reason why we're doing that is because we find various 2 similar items. One is the housing price index and the other is the transaction housing price to represent the housing price. And we also collected some macroeconomics factors for our to compare and see the correlations. Next, moving on to the data collection and format standardization. So all the variables were collected from Fred, and then because of the disparities in the time formats that we collected from Fred, we also take actions to then standardize the time frame in order to combine the data better. We also did the column remaining and recording. This is because we're trying to make the data looks easier to understand and easier to use when it comes to the model selections. We also did the outlier detection removal. So in this step, we used the box plot method in order to showcase any outliers for the variables. For example, for set A, we see there is 1 outliers for the unemployment rate, and for set B, there is 2 additional 2 outliers for the mortgage rate columns. So in order to conduct a better, accurate results, we need to remove those outliers from our data sets. We also did a split data into training testing sets, but that's only for the model selection process, 70% for the training and 30% for the testing sets. And now moving on, it's our results. After we did the data preparation process, we are able to conduct a comprehensive analysis of the relationship between the economical indicators and U.S. housing price.
After data cleaning, we want to do multiple linear regression to analyze our price. Firstly, here I will present dataset A. Firstly, I want to check correlation between response and predictors. Here's a graph showing response variable price index over predicting variables CPI, GDP, household median income, mortgage rate, unemployment rate. Roughly, we can say CPI and GDP are positive with price. Mortgage rates are negative, but household median income and unemployment rate do not have a clear trending picture with the price. When we do linear regression, we also want to check the linear assumption. From the graph, we can see our data has a heavy tail on the norm quantile, also has heavy skewed on the right on our histogram of standard residue. We need to do data transformation to find the better regression. We did log linear regression, linear log regression, and log regression. Among this transformation, we found log regression has the highest adjusted R-squared value, so this is better. Because our data has multicollinearity problem, we know if the data has multicollinearity, it will make the large variance and covariance, making our precise estimation difficult. So we need to do variable selection. We did ridge regression, elastic net regression, and stepwise regression. Among this regression, we found stepwise has the lowest mean square prediction error. It's the best. Stepwise regression select variable CPI and GDP to analyze our data.
Hello everyone, this is Tianyi. I will be explaining our analysis on dataset B. Here we have all US house transaction price index as dependent variable, and the independent variables are CPI, GDP, disposable personal income, mortgage rate, and unemployment rate. In our initial analysis, we built the model with multiple linear regression. As reflected in the summary, we observed strong performance indicators for our model. The adjusted R-squared value was high, and the overall p-value for the model was close to 0, meaning the model could be a good fit to the dataset. However, upon closer inspection, we found that not all predictors were statistically significant in our model. This is a potential area for improvement. Therefore, to enhance the performance of our model, we tried variable selection methods, including elastic net regression and stepwise regression. Besides, we also used ridge regression because it's an efficient tool in dealing with multicollinearity, a problem that was found in our original model. Eventually, our goal was to balance the highest possible R-squared value with the lowest possible MSPE. Our comprehensive analysis pointed us to the stepwise model. As a result, the final model incorporated 3 key variables: GDP, mortgage rate, which both have positive coefficient, and the unemployment rate with a negative coefficient.
Hello, my name is Annie. I will present the conclusion and literature review. From our datasets A and B, we can conclude that there exists a positive correlation between GDP and the housing prices, and a negative correlation for unemployment rate. However, the mortgage rate and housing price show a positive correlation. This leads to one of our challenges that we encounter for our project, explaining the anomaly. It is possible that there is multicollinearity from other factors like CPI and GDP. Also, during the 2008 economic downturn, mortgage rates and interest rates were reduced intentionally to stimulate the economy, and this could skew our data.
And another challenge is to identify high-quality data sources, and we eventually use reliable data from the Fed. We review research papers that talk about macroeconomic factors that influence house price, as well as models to predict the price. This diagram from the article shows the factors influencing housing prices. And those two research papers confirm with our analysis that GDP and other economic factors influence the housing prices. Here are the sources cited. Thank you all for listening.